How is this going to work? How do you decide who gets what?
Well, it's a beginning of a sort of a new era of spending. I think it's actually great news. It's worked out on a sort of per head basis. It's designed to be particularly focused on challenged areas where the need is greatest. It will be much more evenly spread across the whole of Wales than under the old EU scheme. So areas of North Wales and Mid Wales, which have been previously sort of rather left behind in favour of Cardiff and the South East, will get a much bigger share of the cake than they ever have done before. And I think what's really important about this is we're going to be involving local authorities in the spending process much more again than has ever been the case before. You know, I'm very trustworthy of local authorities. They're at the coalface. They know their areas better than anybody, and they'll be able to bid into this system and be able to explain to the centre, if you like, if the UK government the centre, what they need, when they need it, and how it's going to improve jobs, how it's going to improve our chances of hitting our net zero ambitions. So I'm really excited about the prospects that this has in store for Wales.
I'm sure there are a lot of people watching at the moment and listening to what you're saying, thinking £585 million. Is it really necessary to spend it on levelling up at the moment when actually we could all do with a handout to help us pay our fuel bills?
No, I completely get that, and 585 million is only this particular scheme. There are other schemes too. There's the actual levelling up fund. There's the money that central government provides Welsh government, which has gone up significantly over recent years, another £2.5 billion a year over the next 3 years. But I think levelling up and helping with the cost of living challenges are one and the same thing, because what we want to do is be able to provide really good job opportunities for particularly for young people in Wales, so that they can pursue a career from start to finish without feeling the need to have to go away and earn their money, earn their living, pursue their dreams somewhere else. This is about having a really vibrant economy in every corner of Wales. It's about allowing people to get on the property ladder, and it's actually it's the stronger the economy, the better the job prospects, the higher the average wage, the more prepared we're going to be to deal with these the cost of living challenges, which are unquestionably heading our way, and which some cases have already hit us. So the two things are not disconnected.
I was intrigued, Minister, when you mentioned sort of some of this money, you're helping the net zero commitments and things like that. Now, look, I've got to be honest. You know, I'm all for net zero. I think, you know, as a sort of scientific principle, it makes absolute common sense. The problem is, it's an expense at the moment, which a lot of people say we shouldn't be touching on because of the other problems. Now, at what point do we have to say, yeah, it's a good goal, it's a good aim, but we just need to put it on the back burner for a couple of years?
Well, again, I don't think these things are necessarily always exclusive. Net zero is not only a sort of moral obligation as far as our climate change objectives are concerned. It's also a huge economic opportunity. It's got the potential to create 250,000 jobs in the UK, well-paid, high-tech, clean jobs in every corner of the UK. And in Wales, we're looking at the potential of a new floating offshore wind array in the Celtic Sea, which will be not only help achieve those aims, but will also provide a fantastic array of jobs across the whole of Wales and actually across the whole of the UK. In the clean energy sector, we're also looking at the potential of a large-scale nuclear plant up on Anglesey, and we're edging ever closer to that. Small modular reactors. So I think I think we can perfectly well maintain our net zero ambitions at the same time as addressing some of the cost of living challenges which are becoming talked about every day and in every part of Wales. As I say, I don't think those two things are exclusive at all.
As we introduced you, obviously you're a Tory, you're the Secretary of State for Wales. Who is to blame, in your view, for this grinding, slow, drip, drip, drip business of Partygate? We're all wondering, when is it going to end? Who would you blame?
Well, I mean, I'm probably, high on the list of people who wish it was going to end, to be honest with you, because I'd rather, not have to come here and, and face embarrassing questions about what happened back in May of 2020 and around that time. We could spend all day talking about who might be to blame for this, but the PM has held his hands up. He's accepted responsibility for what went on in Downing Street during that time. He's fixed the sort of machinery of Downing Street, which he said he'd do, and he also said that he would apologise. I've heard him apologise on numerous occasions. But the police inquiry grinds on, and the Sue Gray report, much talked about Sue Gray report, will eventually be published in its full and final form. And I think we're all hoping that we can reach that stage reasonably quickly and put this really difficult chapter behind us. As I say, I'm not going to try and sort of come up with a whole range of excuses or justifications. Misjudgments were made. Sometimes this happens. Punishments have been handed down in the form of fixed penalty notices, and I happen to be one of those people who think that it shouldn't necessarily follow that if you have a fixed penalty notice, you should also have to resign. So I'm a sort of on the liberal end of the scale as far as that's concerned. But I think your description of it as a long, slow grind, or however you expressed it, is exactly how it feels. And I ideally wish for the point from the point of view of the public that we could bring this to a conclusion. And I hate having to, as I say, come and keep talking about it, because it wasn't the most glorious chapter in our history.